Hey guys, the Flutter Trainer here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck list. This time it's my completed Naturias, so this is the last Naturia update you'll get from me. With this deck, I run 50 cards in it, but there's a lot of draw power and consistency, so no need to worry. So with that said, let's go straight into the deck. First off, we go triple Naturia Bambushu. Bambushu is when he's tribute summoned using a Naturia monster, he gains, or your opponent cannot activate spells and traps. So he's there to stop your opponent's mirror force and all that good stuff. Next up, I run triple Dragonfly. Dragonfly is when he's, for each Naturia in the graveyard, he gains 200 attack, and he can't be destroyed by anything with 2,000 attack or more. So if you get 4 Naturias in the graveyard, he's got a base of 1,200, so 4 times 200 would be 8. He'd be at 2,000. All you'd have to worry about is spells and traps and taking battle damage. So you don't lose him. It's nice. Next is triple Naturia Cliff. Naturia Cliff, he goes, if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Naturia monster from your deck. So I usually go from Cliff to Cliff to Cliff, and then to another Naturia monster, and then that's beefing up. That's just throwing more Naturias in the graveyard for my Naturia Dragonfly. Next up, I have my Naturia Cherries, triple, level 1 tuners. When they're destroyed by your opponent's cards, whether it be effect or it be by battle or anything, they special summon up to 2 from your deck in face-down defense position. They're nice little floaters to have for Bambushu, whether you draw them or you just have them in your hand. You contribute the next turn for Bambushu, and your opponent can activate spells and traps. It's all good fun. Next up is Double Marin. If he's normal summoned, send 1 Naturia monster from your deck to the graveyard. After that, you can, once per turn, target 2 Naturias in your graveyard and add them to your, and shuffle them back into your deck, and then you draw cards. So nice draw power and consistency, along with you get your Cliffs and Dragonflies back. Who doesn't want that? Oh, and you also get your cherries. Next, I play double Naturia Fruit Fly. Naturia Fruit Fly is for each Naturia on your side of the field, your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack and defense. If your opponent has a level monster with 0 defense, you can take control of it until the end phase. So you can use your own opponent's monsters against you. And if you have both of these on the field, the effect is doubled, so your opponents could possibly be losing 3,000 defense, or attack and defense. And that's if you have 2 of him and 3 other Naturias on the field. Next up, we have Double Butterfly, level 3 tuners. Once per turn, if your opponent declares an attack, you just send the top card of your deck to the graveyard and negate the attack. Next up, we have Double Cosmo Bee, level 2 tuners. When your opponent normal summons sets a monster, you special summon it from your hand. Next up, we have a single Naturia Horn Needle. I use him more for his attack power than his effect, but his effect is, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, tribute 1 Naturia you have, and destroy that card, special summon monster. He has 1,800 attack, that's why I have him in here, but his effect has come in handy several times. Next, I have Naturia Rose Whip. If you can't get Bambushu on the field, this level 3 tuner will help you. Your opponent cannot activate. Your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap card per turn. So it just limits them instead of saying, "Oh, you can't activate anything." Next up, I have a Naturia Stinkbug, the Battle Fader of Naturias. If your opponent targets a Naturia for an attack, send this face-up card from your side of the field to the graveyard, negate the attack, and end the battle phase. Level 3 tuner. He's nice. And the last Naturia of the deck would be Naturia Beans. Once per turn, he cannot be destroyed by battle. If your opponent targets this card for an attack, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So your opponent, in order to get rid of this, has to take 1,000 damage through battle. Next is Naturia, or not Naturia, we're out of the Naturias. We have Dandelion. If you sent to the graveyard, special summon 2 fluff tokens. And they can't be used for tribute summon on the turn they're special summoned. So I use a Fluttershy card and a Hoppip, because Hoppip is awesome. Next up, we have the Mystic Marco-Carpaseed. Can only be used as a... Oh, it's a level 3 tuner. Can only be used as a synchro material for a Earth monster. And you can target one Earth monster on the field and reduce its level by 1. So you can get possibly several different XYZ material, or synchro materials, or synchro monsters on the field using that effect. Finally, I run a Redox Dragon Ruler Boulders. If he's in your hand or graveyard, you can banish, you can banish a total of 2 Earth or Dragon-type monsters from your hand or graveyard, except this card, and special summon it. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is special summoned, that way it goes back to your hand. And you can discard a card and target one Earth-type monster in your graveyard, which is all Naturias. And it gets special summoned without any other bonus added effect, so it's nice. Finally, just for jokes, and actually has helped me a lot, is a Penguin Soldier, flip effect. Send 2 cards from your... send 2 monsters on the field to the graveyard. Or not graveyard, to your opponent's hand or extra deck. Or your hand or extra deck, depending on your work. Like, I'll send one of my opponent's monsters, I'll flip it face up myself, send one of my opponent's monsters back, and send this back to my hand. It's nice. Next up are my spells, which are just staples and 2 probably random cards you'd see. First up we have a enemy controller. Quick play spell card. Send one, or target one face-up monster your opponent controls and change that target's battle position. Or tribute one monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and take control of it until the end phase. Next up, we have a Shard of Greed instead of Pot of Greed, which is banned. I have Shard of Greed, which just helps with draw power. It's a continuous spell. During each year draw phases, this gains a Greed counter, and when you can send it to the graveyard with 2 or more, and you can draw 2 cards. Next up is that was an interesting card. Now this is the other interesting card, Dark Core. Discard 1 card, then target one face-up monster on the field and banish it. Helps with the Dragonflies, and if you discard Naturias, you can beef them up. Or I send Dandelion, get the 2 fluff tokens. Next up is 1 Pot of Duality, because you do quite a bit of special summoning with this deck. So just reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and choose 1, shuffle the other 2 back into the deck. And then you can't special summon. But if it's like a cliff, all you have to do is play the cliff and end your turn, because if your opponent attacks, you can special summon that way. The last 4 are again staple, or actually the last 5, because that Pod Duality is a staple. Dark Hole destroys all monsters on the field. Book of Moon targets 1 face-up monster and flips it face down. And then 2 MST, because MST is awesome. Finally, my traps. It's basically a bunch of staples. Dark Bribe, negate a spell or trap card on the field, and your opponent... negate a spell or trap card your opponent controls, and your opponent draws a card. Bottomless Trap Hole, anything summoned with 1500 attack or more is destroyed and banished. Solemn Warning, negates a summon by you paying 2,000 defense, or not 2,000 life points. Okay. Waboku prevents your monsters being destroyed that turn, and you don't take any battle damage. Threatening Roar, your opponent cannot declare an attack. Magic Cylinder, your opponent tries to attack you, and negate the attack and redirect it back at them. So if you're playing a Blue Eyes White Dragon, instead of you taking 3,000 or your monster taking damage, you just send it the 3,000 attack points at them directly. It's nice. Fiendish Chain. Target an effect monster on the field. Its effects are negated and it cannot attack. Trap Stun, negate all their trap effects on the field. Scrap Iron Scarecrow, when your opponent declares an attack, negate the attack and set this card face down again instead of sending it to the graveyard. 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, target 1 monster in the field, and return that target to the hand. Call the Haunted, special summon 1 monster from your graveyard and equip that card to it. Dimensional Prison, Sakuretsu Armor. If a monster, it's basically a Sakuretsu Armor, but instead of sending it to the graveyard, it gets banished. And double Mirror Force, because Mirror Force is awesome. Gets rid of all those high attack powered monsters. Finally, I have my extra deck. The 4 cards I'm showing you should be played in a Naturia deck, at least these 4. The next 3 I'll show you after that are optional. They've helped me a lot. So first I'll start with my Naturia Beast. If your opponent activates a spell card, or not, actually it's during either player's turn. When a spell card is activated, send the top 2 cards of the deck to the graveyard and negate the activation and destroy it. Level 5 Synchro. Next we have a level 6 Synchro, my Ghost Rare Naturia Barkion. If a trap card is activated, banish 2 cards from your graveyard and negate the activation. Next we have Naturia Landois. Send 1 spell card from your hand to the graveyard and negate the activation of a effect monster's effect and destroy it. And finally, we have Leo, the Keeper of the Sacred Tree, 3100 attack is why I have him here, and his effect has come in handy. Level 10 Synchro. Oh, Naturia Landois is level 7, by the way. Level 10 Synchro. This card cannot be targeted by effects except during your main phase 2. Now, these next 3 cards are completely optional. You can have them if you want. Gaia, the Force of Earth, 2600 Beat Stick, level 6 Synchro. Mighty Warrior, level 6 Synchro. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the destroyed monster's attack. And finally, a Synchro you see everywhere, Stardust Dragon. Your opponent activates a spell or trap that destroys at least 1 card on your side of the field, be 1 or more. Send this card face up from your side of the field to the graveyard, negate the activation, destroy it, and then during the end phase, it comes back to your side of the field. Really nice card to have. So that is my Naturias. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content from me, subscribe. So, with that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Peace. Love you guys. Peace. Again.